Imagine piloting a plane that lands on a dirt road, drops relief supplies at remote villages, and escapes before radar even notices it, all while rugged and reliable. That's the power of stall engineering, reshaping what aviation can do under extreme conditions. The OV-10 Bronco transformed military aviation when it entered service in the year 1965. Developed in the United States for close air support, it featured two Garrett Tango Papa Echo 331 turboprop engines, producing 715 horsepower each. Its twin boom design and compact size made it easy to maintain and surprisingly tough. Designed for jungle warfare, it earned the nickname Black Pony from pilots flying missions deep in enemy territory. Reaching speeds of 281 miles per hour or 452 kilometers per hour, the Bronco shocked engineers with its SEO-L performance. It could take off in just 984 feet, allowing it to operate from highways, dirt roads, or jungle clearings. While other aircraft required prepared runways, the Bronco could launch and land almost anywhere, making it a perfect match for unconventional warfare zones and rapid response missions. Its structure was built for war. The reinforced aluminum fuselage could absorb damage from ground fire and continue flying. It carried a variety of weapons, including rockets, machine guns, and conventional bombs under its high-mounted wings. Despite its light frame, it delivered heavy firepower with surgical precision. It also performed troop transport, medevac missions, and forward observation, proving itself to be one of the most adaptable platforms of its time. The Bronco was not just an American success. Countries like Germany, Thailand, Venezuela, and the Philippines integrated it into their armed forces for its flexibility and resilience. Its tandem cockpit provided both pilot and observer with wide visibility for reconnaissance and coordination. Decades later, restored examples still fly in air shows, reminding the world of a time when a rugged twin-engine turboprop could outmaneuver expectations and dominate every terrain imaginable. Launched in the year 1962, the PZL 104 Wilga became a legend in STOL aviation history. Designed in Poland, it featured the Aeronca Alpha India 14 Romeo radial engine, delivering 260 horsepower. Its top speed reached 130 miles per hour or 209 kilometers per hour. Light, strong, and adaptable, the Wilga was made for demanding conditions, offering performance that few utility aircraft could match. Its all-metal frame with aluminum skin allowed it to withstand rain, snow, wind, and rough landings. The high-wing layout offered excellent control at low speed and gave pilots clear downward visibility. Its short takeoff and landing ability made it perfect for unprepared strips, snowy fields, or narrow mountain valleys. From glider towing to flight training and border patrol, the Wilga became a vital asset for dozens of civilian and military organizations. The Wilga dominated an international short-field flying contest for decades. Its agility and precision earned countless championship wins. Flight schools valued its stable flight characteristics and forgiving controls. Its simple mechanical systems required little maintenance, cutting down costs and maximizing uptime. The combination of rugged engineering and operational efficiency made it the gold standard of utility STOL aircraft in much of Europe. Military forces quickly adapted the Wilga into various roles, from aerial observation and medevac to search and rescue and liaison flights. Its ability to land and take off from rough terrain using short distances gave it an edge in remote and unpredictable environments. Many original Wilgas still fly today across the world, from Europe to Asia and the Americas. It remains one of the most reliable and enduring STOL platforms ever built. The Aeronca L3, introduced in the year 1941, was one of the most compact yet effective observation aircraft of World War II. It was powered by a Continental Alpha 65 engine, producing 65 horsepower, modest, but enough for its lightweight structure. It reached a top speed of 85 miles per hour, or 137 kilometers per hour. Built for short flights at low altitude, it served roles that larger, more complex aircraft simply could not handle. The L3 had a welded steel tube frame covered with fabric, keeping it light, durable, and easy to repair. It could take off from rough terrain, dirt fields, beaches, or even farmland with less than 500 feet of runway. Its conventional landing gear configuration gave it great flexibility during landings. Pilots appreciated its reliability in the field, while mechanics valued how easily it could be maintained using only basic tools under combat conditions. More than just a trainer, the L3 played a vital role in battlefield reconnaissance. It flew at treetop level, observing enemy movements and directing artillery fire with radio communication. Its small profile made it hard to detect and even harder to shoot down. It also evacuated wounded soldiers from remote areas where no other aircraft could land. This made it a true lifeline in high-risk missions where precision and agility were essential for survival. Training squadrons across the United States used the L3 extensively to teach thousands of new aviators. Its stable flight characteristics made it perfect for teaching fundamentals like navigation, emergency procedures, and radio operation. After the war, many were sold to civilian clubs, where they served as affordable, easy-to-fly personal aircraft. Even today, restored L3s appear at aviation events, a lasting tribute to a small plane that made a massive impact. The Miles M38. Messenger first flew in the year 1944 and stood out as one of Britain's most refined light liaison aircraft. Built by Miles Aircraft, it featured a de Havilland Gypsy Major engine producing 145 horsepower. Its top speed reached 106 miles per hour, or 170 kilometers per hour. Though compact, it offered outstanding low-speed handling and short field performance, making it a trusted platform in both civil and military use. Its fixed tailwheel landing gear and high wing configuration allowed excellent visibility and strong ground clearance, essential for operations on rough, grassy fields. Its structure was built with wood and fabric, typical of the era, but engineered with exceptional craftsmanship. The Messenger could take off and land in under 500 feet, a key asset for missions requiring flexibility in confined or improvised airstrips during and after the war. Used extensively by the British Army and Royal Air Force, it became a reliable liaison and communications aircraft. One specially modified Messenger was even used as the personal aircraft of Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery. It served in post-war operations and training flights, and was later adopted for use in civilian aviation. Its precise control and stable flight made it ideal for short hops, rural access, and utility missions in remote areas. Though produced in small numbers compared to war-era mass aircraft, the Miles Messenger earned respect through performance. Many were sold to private pilots and flying clubs after their military service. Its timeless design and stall capabilities make it a popular restoration project among collectors today. Several examples remain airworthy, often seen at heritage air shows throughout Europe, continuing to honor British aviation craftsmanship from the World War II era. Introduced in the year 1945, the Auster J1 became a cornerstone of British post-war utility aviation. Powered by a de Havilland Gypsy Major engine with 145 horsepower, it reached speeds up to 106 miles per hour or 170 kilometers per hour. Designed with a high wing and a simple tailwheel undercarriage, this aircraft was easy to fly, maintain, and adapt for multiple missions. Built with a steel tube fuselage and fabric-covered wings, the J1 offered outstanding durability in adverse conditions. It could land on grassy fields, unpaved roads, and rough strips with minimal preparation. Pilots appreciated its stability at low speed and reliable response in tight quarters. In civil aviation, it served in survey work, glider towing, and flight instruction across Britain and its territories. During military service, it operated as an observation and communications aircraft, often flying dangerously close to enemy lines. The Auster helped coordinate artillery fire and served as a lifeline in remote outposts. Its compact footprint and light weight allowed it to be stored in hangars, barns, or even tents in forward operating zones. Its low maintenance requirements made it invaluable during extended campaigns. The J1 remains a beloved classic among British aircraft restorers and collectors. Many examples are still flying today in heritage air shows and training schools. As Britain refined its post-war designs, Germany sought to re-establish its aviation industry with precise engineering and rugged reliability. The Dornier DO 27 first took flight in 1955, showcasing German precision through rugged design and exceptional stall performance. Its Lycoming Golf 340 engine produced 270 horsepower, pushing the aircraft to a maximum speed of 165 miles per hour or 265 kilometers per hour. Created for remote ops, it performed flawlessly on short, improvised runways of dirt, grass, or gravel. This high-wing utility plane featured a strong steel fuselage with excellent cockpit visibility and a wide stance for rough field landings. It could take off in 550 feet and land even shorter, which made it ideal for humanitarian aid, surveillance, and evacuation. With seating for up to 6, it carried troops, cargo, or medical supplies with ease. Simplicity in systems allowed fast field maintenance without requiring major infrastructure. In Africa and the Middle East, the DO-27 proved its worth in harsh conditions. It resisted dust, heat, and mechanical strain while supplying remote bases and extracting wounded soldiers. Civilian operators used it for border patrol, aerial photography, and wildlife monitoring. It also gained popularity among flight schools for teaching advanced off-field landing skills, setting a gold standard in short takeoff and landing utility aircraft. Today, restored examples still fly in historical events across Europe, honoring the legacy of post-war German aviation. Museums preserve the DO-27 as a technical milestone in light transport design. Yet, while Germany was refining its engineering in Central Europe, another powerhouse was emerging further east. In the Soviet Union, a new machine would defy every expectation of size, reliability, and extreme weather durability. The Antonov AN shocked the aviation world when it first flew in 1947. With a SH-62 radial engine delivering 1,000 horsepower, this Soviet biplane reached speeds of 125 miles per hour, or 200 kilometers per hour. Designed for STOL operations, it could take off from snowy plains, muddy fields, or forest clearings, handling conditions where most aircraft simply could not survive. Its massive double wings enabled stall speeds as low as 30 miles per hour. Pilots often joked it could hover or even drift backward in strong headwinds. The airframe combined steel tubing and fabric, built to endure temperatures from -50 to over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It could haul cargo, soldiers, or agricultural equipment with the same confidence, making it the backbone of remote logistics in the Eastern Bloc. More than 18,000 units were built, with thousands more produced under license in China as the Nanchang Y-5. Its low maintenance demands, ability to run on low-octane fuel, and rugged landing gear made it ideal for harsh environments. It became essential for missions like aerial spraying, troop transport, and even medical evacuations, especially where no formal airstrips were available. Even decades later, the AN-2 remains in active service around the globe. But while one hemisphere embraced raw strength and over-engineering, another explored an entirely different philosophy. Instead of building around brute power and capacity, some aviation minds focused on agility, minimalism, and visibility, paving the way for a machine that would become just as iconic in its own right. Built in 1941, the Taylorcraft L2 Grasshopper, this small American aircraft, helped redefine what light aviation could do in a war zone. Powered by a Continental A65 engine with 65 horsepower, it reached top speeds of 85 miles per hour, or 137 kilometers per hour. Though modest in speed, it was highly maneuverable, perfect for tight turns, quick landings, and low passes over enemy lines, where bigger aircraft wouldn't dare operate. Its steel tube frame and fabric-covered fuselage made it both lightweight and rugged. Pilots could land on dirt roads, beaches, or unprepared fields with ease. Its tailwheel design and high wing configuration gave outstanding visibility and control, especially at slow speeds. It was simple to fly, economical to operate, and required very little ground support, making it perfect for frontline missions and training new aviators. Throughout the Second World War, it played a vital role in battlefield observation, artillery spotting, and emergency medical evacuations. Pilots flew low and slow, gathering critical intel while dodging ground fire. Its compact profile made it hard to detect, and radio communication allowed seamless coordination with ground units. In many theaters, it was the first and last aircraft soldiers saw in combat zones. Though it wasn't designed for speed or combat, its contributions were strategic and deeply human. It proved that even the simplest machine could save lives and turn the tide of battle. As warfare intensified and demands grew, military planners knew they needed something more capable. An aircraft still light and nimble, but with greater range, power, and load capacity to meet evolving mission needs. Introduced in 1942, the Stinson L5 Sentinel brought greater power and endurance to the world of liaison and reconnaissance aircraft. Powered by a Lycoming O343 engine producing 185 horsepower, it reached speeds of up to 130 miles per hour, or 209 kilometers per hour. This made it ideal for frontline operations, where urgency and range could mean the difference between life and death. Its high wing design offered excellent downward visibility, while a reinforced fuselage allowed it to carry stretchers, radio equipment, or supplies. Built with a metal frame and laminated wood wings, it balanced strength and lightness perfectly. Field medics relied on it to extract wounded soldiers from hard-to-reach zones, often under enemy fire. It could land and take off from spaces as short as 500 feet with ease. Beyond its medical missions, it served as a vital tool for battlefield observation and command coordination. Its spacious cabin supported a pilot and an observer, working in tandem to monitor troop movements and relay information in real time. With basic tools and minimal ground support, units could keep it flying even in remote or improvised airstrips, making it one of the most dependable aircraft of its class. Despite its larger size compared to earlier liaison planes, the L5 maintained the same nimble spirit. But while it advanced performance and versatility, many aviators still held deep admiration for a certain aircraft that came before it, one that proved a smaller frame and lighter engine could still shape the course of history with sheer simplicity and resilience. The Piper L4 Grasshopper made its debut in 1942, emerging as a wartime icon of simplicity and effectiveness. Powered by a Continental A65 engine generating 65 horsepower, it reached top speeds of 85 miles per hour, or 137 kilometers per hour. Though unarmed and unarmored, it served as the eyes of the battlefield, flying low over hostile terrain where larger aircraft couldn't safely operate. Its lightweight frame, built from welded steel tubing and fabric covering, allowed landings on any flat surface, from farm fields to gravel roads. With its tailwheel configuration and high wing layout, it offered excellent visibility and slow speed control, perfect for surveillance, artillery spotting, and message delivery. Mechanics loved its simplicity, which meant quick repairs, using only basic tools, even in combat zones. Throughout the Second World War, the L4 flew in nearly every major theater. It directed artillery fire, coordinated ground troop movements, and evacuated wounded soldiers from danger. With no advanced electronics or armor, pilots relied entirely on their flying skill and instincts. Despite the risks, this tiny aircraft saved lives, influenced battle strategies, and earned the trust of generations of soldiers and airmen. Even after the war, the Piper L4 remained a favorite among civilian pilots and flying clubs for its affordability, low maintenance, and historical legacy. Its role in shaping military aviation doctrine was undeniable. As the dust of war settled, it became a symbol of how even the smallest aircraft, when paired with determination and skill, could leave an outsized mark on history. These aircraft prove that adaptability, not beauty, defines real aviation power. They conquered places no jet could dream of. What would you build if nothing held you back? Like this if it lit a spark. Share it with someone chasing big dreams. Subscribe and join our crew for more stories like this. Comment below, where would you land if the world had no runways? Watch the videos that are popping up on your screen and keep flying with us. Bye-bye.